Hi guys, this is Sam. Welcome to my channel. I talk about languages and culture. This video will talk about how I managed to learn one of the hardest language in the world, Cantonese. I'm from South Korea. So I'm native in Korean. I was raised in mainland China, so I'm both native in Mandarin and Korean. I grew up studying in an international school, which made me fluent in English. Came to Hong Kong. That's how I started my journey of learning Cantonese. Cantonese is regarded as one of the most challenging and difficult language to learn because of its pronunciation and characters. Well, when it comes to its pronunciation, when Mandarin has 4 tones, which are Cantonese, they got 9 tones, which is even hard for local people to differentiate. Well, for example, if you say si, it means poem. If you say si, it means history. Or if you say si, it means to try. And if you say si, it means time. Or if you go si, it means market. And lastly, if you do si, it means to be. So with the same sound, but with different tones, you are talking about completely different stuff. That's why many people make mistakes. That's why it is regarded as one of the greatest challenges in learning Cantonese. And also the second point is about the characters. China's got this long history of Chinese character. And in Mandarin, they are using a simplified Chinese. And in Hong Kong and in Macau and also in Taiwan, they're still using the traditional one, which are a lot more complicated. Cantonese is hard in terms of writing, reading, speaking, and all that listening. But I managed to learn this language within around 2 years, where I can just talk to people, where I kind of achieved the business level. So I'm gonna introduce a language learning framework that was actually developed by me, which I call WIGFI. So there are 5 factors. There are interest, confidence, friends, yapping, making your own words. So the first idea, interest, is actually the core aspect of this concept. Whatever you do, you need your interest that push you forward. For example, I have some students who are learning Korean for me, and whenever I ask them the reason why they are learning Korean, I would like to say 9 out of 10 people learn Korean because of K-pop, K-cultures, and all that. Interest does matters to learn a language. If you don't have an interest, you don't start. In my case, there were 2 biggest reasons I had on learning Cantonese, and they were Canto pop and YouTuber. So when it comes to Canto pop, I listen to those traditional and classic Canto pop. One of my favorite band is called Beyond. So I've been listening to their music when I was like in primary school. So I always had an idea of what Cantonese is because I listened to those lyrics and all that. Song, culture can be your interest. And second one is YouTuber. 6 years ago, when the world is, concerned about this COVID-19 thingy, that's when I came across a YouTuber named Torres Pete. And this guy basically travels around and then he is really funny. And that's how I started getting to know him. And then I realized he's from Hong Kong and he mostly speaks English in his channel, but sometimes he will speak in his own language, which is Cantonese, in the video. So that's how I started, wow, okay, Cantonese can be really interesting to learn. First one, interest. If you want to learn Korean, if you want to learn Japanese, find your interest. For example, Japanese can be anime. For Spanish, it can be any, Spanish drama. So the second one is confidence. Everyone knows that you need confidence to speak up. There are lots of people, they have enough inputs, but they lack outputs. For example, lots of people, they watch K-drama, they watch C-drama or a J-drama, and most of them can't understand without watching those subtitles because they got used to listening to those words and phrases. But the thing is, when you ask them to speak the language, most of them cannot. This is because they excels in inputting those knowledge into their brain, but they'll try to make some output out of the language. That's why many people stuck in learning a language. Many people are scared of making mistakes. Many people lose confidence or just don't have confidence because they're afraid of making mistakes. But thing is, as a beginner, everybody makes mistakes, which is very natural. It is very important just to say whatever you want without caring too much about other people, because usually as a Korean, if somebody who is Korean beginner and talking to me in Korean, I'll be so admired, I'll be so, excited to talk to him in Korean because I can tell the effort that the person is trying to do. So yes, confidence is another core factor in this concept. The third one is you need people. You need somebody who can talk the language that you want to learn. Yes, in the past, it was hard. Let's say you are living in an island in the middle of Atlantic Ocean. There's no way you can find somebody who speaks Cantonese in that tiny island. But now the world has changed. You got Wi-Fi, you got internet, you got so many websites that you can get access to make friends who can speak the language that you want to learn. So it is very important to make friends, no matter it is offline or online. Just go up to the website, for example, it can be Duolingo, it can be Preply, whatever you use. One of the most important thing is that you have to talk to a person. And right now, AI is booming, and then there are lots of AI related platforms that you can rely on. So yes, making friends is very, very important. And the best is you make the environment. For example, if you want to learn Korean, just go travel to the city, just go to have fun without relying on English or other language that is acceptable in Korea. So to kind of force you to learn language. And the fourth one is just yap. It's basically similar with the idea of confidence. Many people are stuck because they are afraid of making grammatical mistakes, they're afraid of making any mistakes that could embarrass them. But at the end of the day, you are learning as a beginner. So the most important thing is to just yap it out. So it's okay to make mistake. And as I was learning Cantonese, I was so bad at it. I had a strong Mandarin accent when I speak Cantonese because I'm native in Mandarin. The person in 7-Eleven, and he just taught me back in Mandarin because I think he was frustrated with my Mandarin accent. The thing is, I was persistent. I just kept yapping in Cantonese, and I managed to communicate with the person. So yes, there will be lots of barriers, obstacles that stops you from learning the language. It can be a person, it can be yourself, but the thing is, you have to say a word and be persistent to learn a language, which is just to yap. Last but not least, making your own is another important factor in learning a language. What does it mean? It means you don't have to care about the grammar. You don't have to care too much about the pronunciation. Just say in your way. Because the thing about language is that languages are so different. For example, in English, people will say, I love your shirt. But in Korean, we don't say, 난 너의 셔츠를 사랑해. We won't say literally, I love your shirts in our language because it sounds so weird. Like, how can you love someone's shirt? But in English, it makes perfect sense because you don't necessarily mean you love that. You're just saying your shirts look good. But in Korean, it doesn't work like that. We say, 셔츠가 되게 예쁘네요. We just say your shirt is beautiful, your shirts look nice, or whatever like that. So we have this sort of cultural difference when it comes to speaking a language, and we sometimes worry about making these mistakes. But the thing is, it's fine. When you learn a language, the person who you are talking to, if he or she is native in that language, they are most likely to understand what you are trying to say. And sometimes they'll even guide you to say the right thing. In my case, I'll just yap and try to make the sentences in my own style, and they'll be like, okay, I think I understand what you're trying to say, and then I'll add a question. Ask, okay, did I say it in a local way? Like, yeah, I'll just ask, did I speak as if a local person was speaking? And then that person would actually give you a feedback. So yes, this is the final factor of this concept. To wrap it up, you need interest. You need a strong interest that push you forward intrinsically. You need confidence to speak up. You need to make friends, partner who will be with you to learn the language. And you gotta yap, don't care about how people think about you. You gotta produce something out of your mouth. And lastly, you need to make that thing in your own words and then get any feedback from other people and try to get as much feedback as possible from your friends, teacher, and anybody who is teaching or anybody who could potentially teach you the language. Thank you so much. And if you think this video was very helpful and meaningful for you, please subscribe. And please like, comment, and subscribe my channel. And I will make more videos about languages and cultures in my channel. Thank you so much. 감사합니다.